So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Jenni G. and going on with what we've been doing this month of interviewing our agents and sharing their stories, their successes, their failures along the way, I wanted to do that with you today. So, tell us about yourself, Jenni.
Oh, thank you. I'm honored that you asked and honored to be here. About myself, I grew up in Coral Springs, local area, and I got into real estate about 3.5 years ago after being in the hospitality for a very long time. Still in hospitality.
Just in a different way, right?
Yes, absolutely. Just a go-getter. I love challenges.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up, tell me something I can't do, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it better than you.
Yeah.
So it's just fighter mentality, I guess.
Okay. And, you know, a couple weeks ago I played the video from Facing the Giants and the death crawl scene in that. And you shared something with me that I had no idea about. It was based on sign language.
Yes.
So tell me about that.
Yeah, so my family history, my last name is Gallaudet. There's Gallaudet University in Washington, D.C. Thomas Hopkins Gallaudet came over in the late 1700s from France and started the first American school for the deaf. Potentially sign language in some ways or another. We got the first grant for schooling from Abe Lincoln. And it's a pretty proud family history. Kind of ironic, though, that I'm the only one in my family that's fluent in sign language, and no one's hard of hearing or deaf. But it's neat. It's neat that I think Lynn here.
Yes, I'm here.
Her daughter was pretty amazed when she told, because her daughter's taking sign language, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, she's a Gallaudet." So I almost actually didn't graduate college because of that. So I was a communications and business major, and I took ASL, American Sign Language, for my foreign language, and I was one semester from graduating, and they said, "Well, you don't have a foreign language." And I was like, "Well, it took 6 years of ASL." So without writing, letters and letters to tons of deans and this and that, I had, like many of us, we have family members that weren't born in the United States. My grandparents came over through Ellis Island from Italy, from Denmark, so on and so forth. And that was a bit of my proud moment of saying, my family came here from other countries, and their parents said, "We're in America now, and we're going to learn English." And some people choose, I may be stepping out of the box here, but some people choose to learn English and some don't. Some people choose to learn Spanish and some don't. The people that are hard of hearing and deaf don't choose to not be able to communicate with the rest of the world. Yeah. So essentially, I take pride in it, knowing that you're helping people. And I'll never forget, I volunteered at elementary school in Tamarack, where they have a program for children, and to see children, let alone adults' faces light up when they have someone new to communicate with is just the most heartwarming feeling in the world. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, and I believe it's like something like between 4 and 6% of the population identifies as deaf or hard of hearing. And that's a whole group of the population that's underserved, and we may not even realize it. Yeah. So talk to me about the transition. What made you choose to get into real estate from the hospitality world?
I think there's multiple reasons. It kind of jump-started when I purchased my first home with a friend of mine that I used as an agent. He came down from Claremont, which now I see that distance of traveling, as I have a closing in Orlando in 3 weeks. But anyway, so I was very interested in the market and knowing and just helping people. I feel like I say it redundantly, but I just love being part of a chapter in someone's life that's so significant, and helping them just put a smile on their face, as simple as that is. So being in the hospitality industry, in the local area, and growing up around here, I use the term Rolodex, and most of you guys know what a Rolodex is, but some don't. It's your
Some of them have
list.
seen it in a museum.
Yeah, exactly. So The one good thing that I always did was keep all my contacts and build that Rolodex. So it was way before real estate. Even in college, people used to joke around and say, Jenni, why didn't you start the LLC? I got a guy. Because everyone would always just call me like, who do you know that has this? And who do you know that does that? And it all connected for me when I was searching for my own house, my first home. And I was like, this is great. I want to do this. And I have all the tools and the network to already do it. So why not? And I did, and it just steamrolled from day one. It was incredible.
So talk to me about your, what was that best moment you've had in your real estate career so far?
Oh, that's a great question.
Working Rolodex. Fishing for warriors.
Oh, you know what? That's a good point, Brittany. So actually, I was in my first Bold, and I did a Bold 100.
Okay.
And I made one phone call to a guy that was going through hard times, and I got him a rental. He ended up going. He had to therapy up in Georgia for PTSD. He was an Army vet, and I'd asked him if there was anything I could do to help him, even though he was in Georgia, and he says no, but thanks for checking in on me. 2 phone calls later was to a lifelong friend of mine, John Lanier, who had just started a nonprofit 501c3 called Fishing for Warriors. And he said, so I was telling him about my phone call prior, and he goes, well, where is he? I'm in South Carolina. He's in Georgia. He goes, I'll be at the rehab center tomorrow. Tell him I'm on my way.
Wow.
Yeah. And the guy had originally called me back a week later and told me thank you that we saved his life. And you're going to get me emotional.
Wow.
So furthermore, John at the time had sent me the first YouTube video that they created, forming this Fishing for Warriors, and it's an 8-minute video. I think it took me about a half hour to watch because I had to keep stopping and like wiping my tears. And I called him back and I said, I need to be a part of this. And he goes, great, there's a donation tab on the website. And I was like, screw you, I'm not donating. We're going to do something bigger and better. So, I mean, it did, you're absolutely right. It stemmed from being in real estate and going to Bold. And this year we had our first South Florida event, as many of you have known and participated. John was in Scott. So many of you guys helped out. It was wonderful. But John actually got to participate in it as a veteran. So thank you again. And it was a massive, massive success. We had a full field for golf. We took 8 boats out, veterans on the water with PTSD. 3 of them pulled me aside, cried to me, and said that, they had no idea the impact on their life that we were giving them. And we raised $16,000 to help some more veterans get some more help. So
that's awesome. So you said something there that I want to hit on and make sure that everyone listening to us hears. Calling your database is so much bigger.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It's not just about the next transaction. It's about the impact. Mm-hmm. It's about the relationship. Now, will you get business out of the calls that you make?
Close the deal yesterday.
Of course you will. Of course you will. Yeah. But it's about the impact. And you were able to personally be a part of literally saving someone's life by connecting 2 people.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So now with the nonprofit, how are you leveraging that with your real estate business as well?
It's the same as a regular, you keep and follow up with your contacts. I want to always keep them in the loop and thank them. I send them photos of the events and stuff all the time and let them know of upcoming events we have, even though they're not even in, may not be in Florida. A lot of the sponsors and the vendors were phenomenal because, who doesn't want to help people? Who doesn't want to be a part of something, that to make someone else feel better? Like, it's just, to know that I put a smile on your face makes me happier, you know. So following up with a couple of the sponsors and the vendors, I purely did it really and truly to do nothing with real estate, and it just came in tenfold. I had a closing yesterday, which was a local sponsor, Shadeway Subs. They ended up selling the shop. They've actually sent lunch to us here. We ordered from them, but they provided all the veterans and the captains with sandwiches. So they called and they said, Jenny, we're ready to buy a house, and got them in on a VA loan, and second property, got them in Eagle Trace. This will blow your mind. $85,000 under the original listing price.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so we closed yesterday. Lynn, obviously, was phenomenal. We used Supreme. And so it's just, you know, knowing people and connecting all the people, you know, together. It's just they remember you. You know, they know that, you know, as much as they want to do good and be a part of it, that you were a part of it as well.
Yeah, so speaking of getting a really good deal for them in Eagle Trace, what adjustments are you making in your business right now based upon the changes that are happening in the economy?
I'm paying more attention to how long the properties are on the market. I'm digging a little deeper into the ownership. That's kind of where I hit the target on this specific one. Mm-hmm. Capitalizing on the information that the listing agent can give you when you're working with a buyer. I run more numbers. I'm such a numbers person.
Yeah.
I love putting numbers in front of people because people don't buy and sell homes every day. Like, we know that, right? So this is our profession, and it's our duty to give them all the facts on the table. So sometimes when they see numbers and they put things in, it's the same thing like working with sellers. Like, okay, look, our average day on market is a little bit different now. We're looking at 14 days or so. You're looking at 3 months or less for your comps, you know, stuff like that. So to put it on paper and put it in front of them a little more statistically now, I feel like is more beneficial than it has been in the last.
So stats are important?
That's an understatement. So I get so excited about stats now.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal, and what the Waxman Group provides at these stats meeting, and then everything after with the slides. If you're not using it, shame on you. Truly.
So what advice would you give people out there today in their business? Like, what one action item would you encourage them to take in the next couple weeks?
I would say just create your own momentum. Momentum does a lot for me. It gives you good energy. It gives you positivity. Momentum is a I know you're a big Maxwell guy, as am I. It's a problem solver.
Yeah.
You know, you have good momentum, then everything else falls in place. Additionally, I guess I would say what works for me is I focus on what works for me, and I focus on that, and then I take two things that I'm uncomfortable with, and I put them on my whiteboard, and I make sure I tackle those things that I'm uncomfortable with. Because once I'm on the other side of that, I feel like I can conquer anything.
Yeah.
So challenge yourself.
Challenge yourself. Take action. Don't wait for somebody to come and save you. Go save yourself.
Amen.
There you go.
Amen.
Give it up for Jenny.